Hey there, Cheesemeisters, and welcome back to the Peach Pod After Dark. I'm Jeff, and with the ladies, it's not the going I'm worried about. It's it's the coming. Uh, and joining me on the other end of the internet, my co-host.
I'm Leslie, and I'm so wet right now.
I heard that could happen in health class.
I know. Honestly, I only did that for the follow-up line because that's the best part.
There's a
late night edition of Peach Pod After Dark.
Yeah, no shit. Cheesemeisters, this week we are going to be talking about Superbad. The 2007, It's Probably Best If Teenagers Don't Drink masterpiece. Written by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, directed by Greg Mottola. Starring Michael Cera, Jonah Hill, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, or Plasse, or Plasse. I'm not sure how to say that guy's last name. McLovin. Cousin Bill.
Hey!
Seth Rogen, Martha McIsaac, and Emma Stone. We are watching this in conjunction with Season 4, Episode 6, Strangers in the Night, because Andrea got some. Our spelling connection this episode is Dave Franco. He was in an episode of Seventh Heaven. He was the soccer kid who peed his pants. That was like 8 years ago.
Oh, we saw.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't miss him.
You couldn't. If you know what a Dave Franco looks like, you would know that was Dave Franco. But also, he wasn't the largest of roles. So you could have you could have been sipping a frosty beverage or something. Yeah. And then looked up and hadn't seen his face. So this is a movie I've seen a couple times. I did not see it in the theaters. Pretty sure this is like a Netflix on DVD back when they would mail you DVDs.
Nice.
Kind of situation.
Oh, good times.
Yeah, I know, right? So I saw it then, and I've probably seen it maybe one other time since then. But this was fresh for you. And before I ask you what you thought of it, I will point out to the Cheesemeisters that we have watched a few movies that fall into a bucket that this movie would also fall into, right? Like, we've watched the teenage sex comedy. We watched American Pie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a comedy, but we did watch the movie about the cum waterfalls. We watched that.
Splendor in the Grass.
Splendor in the Grass. It's all teenagers boning in that movie.
Or not.
We've watched last day of the school year movies. We've watched Dazed and Confused. We watched Everybody Wants Some, which is another, slightly older teenagers trying to have sex movie. We watched that one recently. And I would, for those who haven't listened, I say go back and listen to our episode on American Pie, where we were both surprised at how unproblematic it was. Like, we had sort of expected it to be a big old mess of yeesh. And it wasn't. It was like way more just fine than I think either one of us had any anticipation of.
I will still stand by. It was still more pro-woman than I expect. Pro-woman's pleasure. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Do these guys still only care about getting laid? Yes. But they also want her to have a good time. The bar is low.
Yeah. Thumbs up for the American Pie kids. So I hadn't seen this movie in a little while. I mean, 10 years or so. And so I had no idea how it would hold up. Here are the things that I remembered about this movie. I remembered the phrase "blow Jay," which made me laugh again this time. Nice. When she said it. I remembered all of the dicks, which still makes me laugh. I gotta admit, I'm going to tell you the things I think are funny in this movie, even though they're lowbrow. I didn't, and I remember McLovin, obviously, because everybody fucking remembers McLovin.
McLovin! That's the only thing I knew for the longest time.
Yeah. And I mean, I remembered Cousin Bill and Seth Rogen as the cops, and the fact that they knew all along that he was, that it was a fake ID and all of that. I remembered that. Most of the rest of it, I didn't really remember. So I was going in wondering if we were going to have a movie that was surprisingly more okay than like worst case scenario, for like a 20-year-old sex comedy written in a different time period. Oh, we also watched Just One of the Guys. Where do you get off having tits?
Whew, that was a wild ride.
Yep. So like this is not fresh trodden ground for us. This like how does an older teenage sex movie age? So what'd you think? I like how I set that up.
I really liked it. I could be crass and as lowbrow as this movie and say it was also super bad.
Oh,
but I won't because it wasn't super bad, but it was certainly not great. Yeah, this movie wasn't for me.
Okay.
I know I texted you because you asked me if I laughed, and I went, I laughed occasionally, and you were like, that's not an endorsement.
No, that adverb was doing some damage to that sentence.
Yeah. So yeah, not my favorite. And you know what? It was definitely not written for me.
That's very true. This movie is written for teenage boys. Yeah, 100%.
Teenage boys not getting anytime soon.
Yep, that's very much who the target audience is of this movie. And as a former teenage boy who wasn't getting any, this movie is properly calibrated. But so let me ask you, not everything has to be for everybody. We've established this. Go back if you want to hear me shit on some stuff. Pearl Harbor and Romeo plus Juliet equals loud. Whoo! Those are some things I did not enjoy.
Only one of those I disagree with, but still, that's what's okay and fine.
Yeah, but it's long been my position here, and I think yours too, that it's boring to just say I don't like it. So so what didn't work for you in this movie? And I'm not saying that it should have worked. I'm curious where it fell flat. Like, was it only the like extreme hornball boy part? Was it something about their relationship that you weren't into? Was it something in like their story, the arc or we've also done movies where people just have a fucking night,
Yeah.
And this is one of those where they meander through some shenanigans and then they end up back together at the party at the end. So what about this didn't land for you?
I really did not like Seth, the Jonah Hill character. This is going to be confusing. We're going to have to always preface Seth, Jonah Hill's character. I really didn't care for him at all. He came straight out the gate, aggro incel, and I was like, good God, okay. Which I'm sure Michael Cera is supposed to balance him out, but I don't think anything could have balanced out that soda can. My goodness.
So it was too much of that energy for you.
It was too much of that energy, and even when he was tamping it down for Emma Stone's character, I just didn't buy them. And it's not even just because of the optics. It's
sure.
I don't buy that she is comfortable with him. I think she at least wants to be, I think she's at least okay with being his friend. But, I was watching the scenes where he, says like, oh, well, the great thing about scratching my back is it's on top of my cock or something. And she just,
Right.
Like, very weird moment. They had a moment in the chemistry lab where like she's making a joke and he's, oh, you're cool. You're the cool girl. So yeah, short answer, not really. Um, that character. And
Okay.
very much like the American Pie guys in that it's not even just every scene is about sex. Every single line is about dicks and vaginas. I was at least thankful they said vagina in so many different ways. I was like, great, we're not ignoring the comedy that is women's genitalia. Come on, include us. We want to be funny too. There is,
Right.
listen, not to be punny, but there's a pocket full of humor there.
I see what you did there. Um, yeah. The problem is that neither of those two boys was capable of drawing vaginas.
People, it's so simple. Listen, it's so simple. Am I doing the kind of artwork that Seth Jonah Hill is doing with dicks? No, I'm not. I'm going simple. I want it subtle. I want people confused because they would be as confused if they saw the real thing anyway. But yeah, I love drawing vulvas in random places. I was known for it at a past job, and before anyone gets upset, it was a barista job. And again, they're subtle. Everyone was fine with it. I may have shot myself in the foot there, but it's fine.
I think the statute of limitations on drawing cooters on coffee cups is long since passed.
Oh, I never did it for a customer. This was purely for my coworkers, which still, I'm like, doesn't sound great. But again, the drawings I was doing were abstract.
Understood. Not Georgia O'Keeffe.
I mean, apparently that's super abstract too. I don't know what political figure was talking about it.
And her work has been described as strongly vaginal.
Oh, yes.
Does that word make you uncomfortable, Jeffrey? Vagina.
Vagina.
His dick or his rod or his Johnson. Johnson?
What a fun part.
I know, right? God bless Maud Lebowski. Okay. All fair.
My last thing.
Go ahead.
Unexpectedly sad ending. I found that also. It felt sad to me. It made me sad.
Good, kinda.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think that one, I found this movie funny. And not as funny as like The Big Lebowski or Fletch or Clue or anything.
Yeah.
But I laughed out loud a number of times in this movie. At things that I totally forgot that one of the dicks was from Dr. Strangelove. Like riding the bomb. Like, that's fucking awesome. Like, the creativity involved in the dick drawing was second to none. Like, I was super happy with all of that. It was very funny, silly stuff. I don't mind Jonah Hill in this. Because, like, you were talking about the him and Emma Stone thing. Mm-hmm. And how you don't believe it. Here's where I do believe it. Most of the time that she interacted with him, he was just fine. Like, before the party when he's all drunk. Like, he's an awkward guy that she has known for years. You know, they're seniors in high school. They've known each other. You know, they're in class together. She knows him as this cut up who doesn't, like, he and what's his ass?
Evan, I think is Michael Cera's character.
He and Evan don't go to any of the parties. They're a little mysterious. Like, they just sort of hang out together off on their own. They're not part of the social fabric, but she knows him because he's also not a wallflower. Mm-hmm. Like, he's a kid in school who will cut up and make jokes. And it's not until he's trying to get some that he becomes super awkward and cringy around her.
Fair.
The rest of the time, he's just like a goofball. A goofball who like makes a lot of dick and vagina jokes and really doesn't have a lot of nice things to say about home ec, no offense. Uh
I'm really fucking sorry for swearing. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to question your entire line of work or your life choices or like
You know, that was the truest teenage portrayal, I'm
it
gonna
was.
say, of this movie. Just word vomiting and then apologizing and like, that's enough, right? I said the thing. I'm okay now.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I thought as a like the point for those two guys is that they cannot function around girls. They don't know what to do. They are at a total loss. Um, they watch a lot of porn, so they have ideas about like what should be happening, and also they learned that it might get wet in health class.
Yep.
Um, like they have textbook knowledge of what it is they're dealing with here, but they cannot deal with girls. So the like his back is on his dick is like that is the best he can come up with because he doesn't know how to talk to girls. He's so bad at it. And that's why her reaction to like him in the tiramisu class is that she likes him and like she thinks he's funny and like he's such a goofball, and so she's willing when he just is overly, it's not that he's overly crude, it's that like he is trying really hard in really weird ways, and she just kind of like is willing to let that shit slide.
Yeah.
She gets his level of immaturity, but she still likes him. She likes him as someone who she thinks is kind of funny.
Sure.
Um, and seemingly not like a bad guy. Like not someone that is out there like being a problem to be around. He just draws dicks on things. Like,
Yeah, it's going to be hard for me to agree, but like ultimately I know like you are, maybe not ultimately you are right, but like you are right for that certain type of character. Like there are people who are like that who are ultimately not a problem. Just
mhm,
like Wooderson, there are people like that who are ultimately not a problem. You hope they
right,
are not going to be a problem. That's what makes them funny when they're not a problem.
right. Yeah. But see, that's the thing. These guys are not a problem. Like when they when it gets to it at the end, Evan draws the line. He's like, this feels bad to me. Like, as
Yeah.
much as I want this is not how I want this. We need to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, Seth is not like, I mean, he headbutts her in the face, but that's not his fault. Like,
Yeah.
he kind of falls down. Um, he gets drunk because he thinks it's the only chance he's got. And he's wrong. Like, he's way wrong about that. But, like, he doesn't, like, he tries to kiss her and he does. And she's like, stop. And he does. And he's confused by it because his read of the situation has been wrong from the start. But he's not aggressive. He's not mad at her. He's confused.
Sure.
And so I think that what we get is that not only are these two guys not a problem for the girls, they're decent guys. And they're guys who deeply love each other.
Yeah.
And at the core of this movie is that relationship, is that friendship. It's way more about the two of them and their relationship together than it is about any of the sex stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, like, and that's why the ending. That's why I'm glad that the ending is sad, because you've actually gone on the right journey with these characters.
Okay,
It was,
good. I
yeah. I
wasn't
mean, it was
expecting it.
right. It was. I mean, it was hidden because the movie is about pictures of dicks and stuff, and blowjays, and fucking McLovin and his fake ID from Hawaii, which is
Yeah.
it's amazing. There's a reason that transcended this movie. That is Jeff's kiss.
Nice.
That is such a funny, stupid fake ID, McLovin.
I remember seeing that on t-shirts.
Of
Or like
course.
they actually had you could buy the actual fake ID.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sure you still can. Yeah. Um, so what you've got between the two of them is right from the start. There's a sadness in their relationship because they always intended to do this together, and coming up pretty soon, they're going their separate ways,
Yeah.
and that is hard for them, and they don't know how to express how hard that is for them. But you keep seeing it over and over again in their actions and the way that they interact with each other, and how hurt uh, Seth gets when Evan like doesn't stand up for him when the guy spits on him,
Yep.
or when he runs away, like when the cops have them, or like he's feeling abandoned all over the place, and he keeps calling it out when it happens, but he can't articulate it because he's a 18-year-old boy. Um, but then finally at the end, the two of them are, they're laying down, uh, getting ready to go to sleep, and they tell each other how much they love each other.
Yeah.
And then and the movie, it shows you all of the times when it's not cool to abandon your friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he with the spitting guy, and then the cops, and then at the party, and all of these and then you know um even it's not abandoning, but like when they cockblock McLovin, like the two cops are like, "Oh, that's not cool. We're really sorry. Like we didn't mean to do that. That's not who we
Yeah.
are." But like they keep saying, "Don't abandon your friends" in this movie, but at the very end, they go away from one another. But it's not an abandonment.
Yeah.
It's a letting go, and that's why you're sad at the end, because you've come to like these two guys and their relationship to each other, and you see that it's about to split, and then they choose to go away from each other, to let the other go. And
Yeah.
it's sweet.
It is. And I'm not one to shirk, watching sad stuff, although sometimes I do try to avoid the super depressing, but like
Mm-hmm.
sadness is nothing new to me. Um I think what makes me saddest about it is, much like you said, they don't know how to communicate a lot of what is bothering them to each other. And they did have that beautiful like moment right before they went to bed where like they said I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And but then the next morning it's awkward between them again in like a funny but also sad way. Very
Mm-hmm.
again, I noticed on YouTube it was called the morning after scene. I went, that's exactly what it is.
Sure.
Um so what really makes me sad about it is knowing, or is feeling like they may never know how to communicate that, or they're not going to figure that out until too late. Like it just feels like there are, like you said, they're letting go, but it felt like a very permanent uh you go, like you'll go your way and I'll go mine, and in the end we'll be fine.
I mean, but that's like, they couldn't have done that at the beginning of the movie. They could not have let each other go in a healthy way at the beginning of
True.
the movie. They have to go through all of this crazy shit that they go through to, to get to the point where they can say, I love you.
Yeah.
And to know that that is true, but also I'll go with this girl and you go with that girl, and not in a weird, stupid way. Like in a this is how you behave as you grow up.
Yeah.
And it's a coming of age thing. They have come of age that night. You know, and it's you know I think without that part of it, then it's just a stupid dick movie.
You're right.
But I think there's more to it, and that's what I liked.
Well, and in thinking back on all of our other teen movies that we've watched, there is, I feel like, always this slight twinge of yearning at the end of it. Like not just this is the end of the movie, like this is the end of high school. This is, you know, or this is the end of, what would you say it's the end of in Dazed and Confused? It's like,
I mean, it's the end of the school year, start of the summer.
yeah,
You know, it's yeah. They're just it's it's the end of a night is all it is in Dazed and Confused, which is what's sort of perfect about it.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah. I just think these two guys went on a journey, and it was a very silly journey that
Oh yeah.
involved a lot of crazy shit. Um, and was mostly a cautionary tale about alcohol consumption. Like,
Good.
yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, McLovin drank way too much and got into some shit. Both of the cops drinking too much. Seth, Evan, and Becca all drinking way too much, and all of them negative consequences for their behavior. Like,
You know, I feel like when I was growing up, that was definitely the bigger concern, was how much partying teens were doing. Even though they had, we've seen older movies where they're partying, like that happens. But I
oh
feel
yes, oh
like,
yes, oh yes, it's the Great Charleston contest.
Dad, can I have a drop of gin tonight? Not one
One
drop,
drop.
son. Aw. Um,
Yep.
about time you fellas said it.
Hmm.
Anyway, well, now I'm with Annie,
I know. We love
and
Annie.
I'm happy. I'm with Annie.
Save it up to get a divorce if you ever get a husband.
Facts. No, I really forget where we were. Shit.
We were talking about the kids have always partied.
Oh, but yeah, so I feel like that was definitely a thing they were trying to show. This is not a good thing. But of course, the problem with Hollywood is, even when you're trying to teach people something or get them to see it a certain way, the audience is going to see it how the audience is going to see it. I feel like at the heart of this, there was a deeper story about friendship, but the thing people are going to remember most is McLovin and dudes drinking and trying to fuck, and it's like,
Mm-hmm. But none of their bad behavior is rewarded in the moment.
yeah,
Like they all like this isn't Donna Martin, like, or Steve Sanders. Like, there are consequences for what they choose to do. And now, thankfully, because it's a comedy, they're not like tragic consequences,
yes,
but none of them, like, Evan and Becca do not hook up, which is what they both want before they make the bad choices of just drinking way too much.
yeah,
Like, if the two of them want each other and want each other sober, so introducing the alcohol into the situation spoils it,
mm-hmm,
you know? And uh, Jules and Seth want each other sober,
yeah,
and the alcohol ruins it.
yeah,
Like, McLovin is about to get some, um, and it's ruined by the drunk cops.
Yep.
Like, the alcohol actively gets in the way here, and their suspect choices. Like, I'm not sure that Cousin Bill is getting away with the car. I don't think their story is going to hold up.
No.
Um, I feel like they might get fired. And that would be for everyone's benefit.
Yes, it would.
Those two were no longer police officers. Um, so I think that you're right. People will remember this for the funny stuff, for the dick jokes and the Jonah Hill rhythm and energy that he has in this movie that people who aren't you think is funny. Um,
I loved it in other stuff. It didn't,
yeah, it didn't work here. That's
I
fine.
loved Knocked Up when it came out. I thought that was hilarious.
There you go. I mean, a lot of the same folks.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, this was this was part of a series of bro comedies. Like the whole bromance, thing. Um, was this Judd Apatow? I think Judd did this.
Yes.
He didn't write it, but
No,
he
he
was involved.
produced.
Yeah.
One of the producers.
Which, again, the Seth Rogen of that makes perfect sense to me. The Did you ever watch Freaks and Geeks?
I did, finally.
Oh, that show is so great.
It's
Um,
wonderful.
yeah, and gave us a lot of really good performers. Just like lots of people who've gone on to do lots of good stuff. And Seth Rogen is high on the list of people from Freaks and Geeks who have gone on to do lots and lots of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think your mileage can vary on how much you like Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
I'll say personally, some of his stuff I think is fucking hilarious. Um, Pineapple Express I liked a great deal. I'm all in on The Studio right now. His
Oh,
new show on HBO. That show is smart and funny, and I mean really clever. I thumbs up for The Studio for me. I liked Preacher quite a bit, which was like a AMC show based on a comic book that was dark and super fucked up.
yeah. I heard about that.
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit. That is so messed up.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, just dark and twisted and like messed up in a good way. But here's, I'm sorry, Seth Rogen, I cannot take you laughing on Howard Stern. I just can't. I can't take it. It's 60 minutes of him just laughing before and after everything that anyone says.
oh
It
no.
is, and he has a very specific laugh,
Yes, he
and
does.
it is far too much for me, which is sad because I think he has a lot of interesting stuff to say, and he's a really smart, creative person, and I want to hear the way he thinks about story and the things he's interested in and stories he's interested in telling, and like I want to hear that, but it's really hard for me to do that through the laugh. The laugh makes it real tough for me. One of the other things I think is nice about this movie is that it gives there's the primary personality trait of all of the men in this movie is insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. Cousin Bill, Seth Rogen, McLovin, Evan and Seth, uh, Joe Latrulio and the party he takes them to. Um, it's insecurity up, and Dave Franco, that was 8 years ago. Um, None of the boys in this movie are ever secure in themselves. And
It's a nice flip of the tables if you think about it. You know, it's usually the women in these movies being insecure and uncertain.
Mm-hmm.
And this one flips that a bit.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I think the movie is relatable for high school boys, because all high school boys are insecure, and I assume most high school girls are also insecure, but
Never.
us insecure high school boys don't know that, because we just know how hard it is to ask a girl out, because if she says no, that is the end of your life. It's
See,
the worst.
I can think of some boys from high school that I'm like, if you were insecure, then I would have rather seen that more than your cocky ass every day.
Sure, but even the cocky guys are like putting on a front.
Sure.
Like that's there to mask the insecurity that they feel. These guys just wear their security or wear their insecurity like a dick tattoo. I mean, it's out there for everybody to see.
Yep.
It's him in those jeans at the end that where
The moose knuckle.
it's a division sign. That's the one that kind of tickled me. It's like the ball and the cock and the other ball on the top.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's a division sign. It's such a specific image. It makes me happy.
That's why the math department gave them condoms.
Exactly. Yeah. You want those. It's important. Might not need the lube.
Wait, what?
You might not need the spermicidal lube.
Hey, you don't know. Everyone is different. I
True.
say, why not?
Why not just carry lube?
Why not just have it just in case? Better to be safe than sorry. Like, if it gets too slippery, well, you can fix that easily. It's called a towel or the blanket.
Okay. All right. So where we've come down is always carry lube. Eat it! This is the things we take a stand on this program. Everybody always carry lube. Make sure it's spermicide.
Yeah, always carry lube. I was so surprised at how I don't even have the words. He came up so hard against Evan having that condom and spermicide. He was making fun of him mercilessly. And I'm like, we've come a long way since that AIDS episode of 90210.
That's
It
true.
is no longer cool
to just carry lube around.
It's about having protection.
I know. No, I know. It's I don't think he's making fun of him for the condom. I think he's 100% making fun of him mostly for the lube, and the lube is a funny choice.
I don't know why you would make fun of someone for that. Like, just because, like, someone
because it feels like over preparation.
But okay, so here's why I disagree with that. Because just because you're younger, it's your first time is still going to be some level of stressful.
Sure.
So I just feel like, because maybe there's foreplay, maybe there's not. You're teenagers. I would hope they know at this point in this day and age that foreplay exists. I feel like I definitely saw that word on a Cosmo magazine when they didn't have the little cover on it at the grocery store. But I still just wouldn't assume. I mean, as a teenager, I would not assume to like bring lube, but because I was so uninformed, and I think a lot of people are variations of uninformed. So all that to say, in my scattered way, I still side with Evan having spermicide. I think that is someone who paid attention. I think that speaks to how caring he is. And
I mean,
you talk about wanting a man or wanting a partner who knows what they're doing, like even if it's their first time. that he has the things.
Sure, sure. I think the reason it's funny is, um, A, you're right. What he knows from health class. Like, which is what he says to her when she says she's wet. Um, like, he's like, oh, they said that might happen. You're, well, that checks out. I'll have to go tell the teacher he was right about that. But it's like the act of taking a condom with you when you are these guys is um, an act of unbelievable optimism, right? Like, I can't believe that you feel good enough about yourself right now that you think there's a chance this might happen. Like, so much so that you're bringing a condom with you. That is crazy town, especially because earlier you told me that this was never going to happen tonight. So I thought we were on the same page with how unlikely it was for us to get any tonight. But it turns out that not only do you feel so good about yourself that you brought a condom, you also said, this condom is not enough preparation for how I know I'm going to get laid tonight. I'm bringing the spermicidal lube. And it's one extra level of optimism that I think any of them has any right to have.
Yeah, probably.
And that is, I think, why the lube is funny. It's not like it's a bad idea to be prepared, because it's not. It's a funny idea that you think you're going to have sex tonight. And you thought it, you thought, I'm going to have sex tonight, so I'm going to take a condom. And then you walked to the door and you went, and the lube.
What's the name of the kid who slept with Stifler's mom?
I don't remember.
I feel like that kid, he might have had spermicide with him.
He probably did, but that kid was a weirdo.
He still got laid.
Well, he did. Proof weirdos get laid. But
McLovin gets to dip his toes in the pool and then is pushed out.
Yeah, poor McLovin.
I know.
It would have been nice for him. Okay. I feel like we've been dancing around it, but how about some adventures and intimacy?
Hell yeah. Because I will say, we have some pretty cool, unique stories in this one with, you have your simulated sex scenes, and none of them end pleasantly, but not in like a dramatic way. You get a no from the girl to the guy, and even though he's mad about it, he still accepts it and walks away. You get the no from the guy to the girl, and like really trying to tell her like, no, I don't think you want this. I can't even think straight right now. And then you get McLovin, who, gets in, they get interrupted, and it's done. So a nice little step away from these overblown stories of losing your virginity, much like Andrea the next morning, like wearing a robe and looking at herself and like, do I look different?
Right.
These are more variations on a theme. And are they more realistic or not? I can't say, but it's good to have variety so that people feel represented, or you see different types of stories out there, so you don't feel weird. I was thinking about some of the light choreography that's featured in this, which when I say light choreography, I mean that's going to take more discussion than choreography. Like, you probably won't need someone to tell you what to do. But, in situations where you have characters like the woman playing the mom leaning over to show off her beautiful form. And same with the girl who is wearing, whale tail. Like,
oh yeah,
you need to put in these casting notices, or hope that at some point they mention to you in the audition, like, hey, this is what this character's for. This is how they're
Yeah.
going to be viewed. This is how we're going to shoot it. Um, because you deserve to know. You deserve to know how you're being represented or how the character is being played. Like, none of that should be a mystery. None of that should be, or like, you shouldn't get cast in something and then you're leaning over and they're shooting and you watch it and go, wait, I didn't know
Yeah.
they were shooting it that way. Like,
This is all about my ass? I didn't know that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And especially considering one of the characters is supposed to be, like a teenager. It's not clear if she's underage or not, and for the sake of this, we'll say they're all 18. But you still need someone. You need to make sure that that person playing, or any kids playing. I'm sorry, any actors playing young people, they need to be 18 or over.
Yeah.
Had some fight intimacy in this. Some ball hits. Another thing.
Nut taps.
Another thing y'all love to do. Shout out to my nephews. Yeah, just don't actually do it. Just make it look like it. And then there's a boob punch.
A very funny boob punch.
Very funny. It reminded me, there's a moment like that in The Holiday too, where Jack Black's character does an accidental boob graze, and he just calls it out in the moment. I don't know if it was planned or an accident and they kept it in. Don't know. But yeah, it was really funny in this, like, and it was done so quickly. Like, a lot of the ways they shot things was clearly to hide that we're not going to do more with this.
Yeah.
We're not going to actually punch her in the tit and show it boing.
Elbowed me right in the tit.
Oh my god, it's making me hurt.
Mallrats. Just as Joy Lauren Adams.
No, I'm thinking about Mallrats. That kid is on the fucking escalator again.
That's right. It's an autonomous unit for mid-mall snacking.
Ooh, we have some Dirty Dancing, which turns out to be dirty in more ways than one.
Yeah.
I was all for this. I was like, was I grossed out? Absolutely. It's juices from another person. That's gross.
Right.
But did I think it was also perfect and on the right person? Yes, I did. I was thrilled.
I thought it was funny how she grinds on exactly the same spot on people. Like, she likes that right leg. Like,
I think she likes the feeling she gets from that right leg.
I know, but both of them had it on the right leg. She did not get on the left leg for either one of them. She gets on the good foot.
Yeah, and that also is going to take choreography, not for like blood placement or anything, but like you need to know, like with any dancing, you need to know where you're holding people. You need to know, like, what level of grinding are we doing? Like, no, you don't need to go that insane with it. Like, you're going to be doing this take after take after take.
Right.
And you're in a very short skirt. So like, let's keep this away from NC-17 land.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of drunken first times, which that is definitely a story. And then, yeah, like we were saying, it's not the way you want that to happen. And I'm really glad that Michael Cera's character and I think Becca is the character's name. I'm glad that they didn't, because I'm like, oh yay, good message. Please don't do this when you're both drunk. Not just because you're both gonna regret it. You're just it's non-consensual. You all are drunk.
And they have it. And the fact that they didn't do it gives them a chance to have a real relationship.
Exactly. It's, again, even though I didn't care for this movie, I can totally speak to the fact that it is not as surface level as it seems.
Yeah.
Much like American Pie. Okay. Because I don't know how specific you want me to get with like each drunken sexcapade, but one thing I noted that I thought was really funny, the way they shot McLovin, and I think her name was Nicole. I'm gonna call her Nicole.
Yeah, sure, Nicole.
They show her face first, and it's really funny because she's doing this like, and I thought, that's and then they show his, and he's also kind of like not looking right at her and like, And
Yep.
I thought, oh my God, that's really funny. He's trying to put it in. You know, and
Yep.
like, were they still on top of each other? Yes. But something like that is so simple. You don't, when you shoot that, you can't be right on top of the person. You have to be on top of the camera. You're going to be on top of Fred, the camera guy.
Right.
And he
Right.
definitely doesn't want you touching him like you might be touching other people off duty.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I've met Fred. He had complaints.
That's right.
But so
Kiss yourself, says Fred.
yeah. So I thought that was really funny in light of the fact that there had been two drunken sexcapades earlier that, you know, ended in a no and not great. Like, what were your thoughts on the
Um,
intimacy?
I really liked. I liked Evan and Becca, and the way they drunkenly got undressed.
They
It
were
was.
so good at playing drunk.
They were. They were so clumsy in really believable ways. And I loved all of it. I thought that was all really funny, and like just their physicality with one another I thought was really good. um and all of their kisses were so messy.
Yeah.
Like they had the sloppiest, drunkest looking kisses. Like I was just the two of them, like, because she was like blah, blah, and he was like
Yep.
like
No,
like I don't want to kind of kiss, but I kind of want to, like, yeah. All of it worked really, really well for me. I thought it was really funny. Um, I did like the I like the headbutt in the face. That was just funny. Like
okay. I
they
wasn't
like they
expecting
just
it.
I'd forgotten that it happened. But just yep, that's exactly how this is going to go, as badly for her as it possibly can. You know, like just she's sober, and when you're sober around drunk people, you're gonna get headbutted in the face. Like it's
Yeah, you
just
are.
it's a bad circumstance. So the fact that she's the one hosting the party, it's an act of bravery, I think, on her part, but
Yeah.
or questionable judgment.
Yeah. All I can say is I liked the way they shot the intimacy. I liked that they, you know, there was a different story for each one, and
Mm-hmm.
especially in the case of Becca and Evan, the clothes that those characters still had on made sense. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
even if it was, you know, even if it was more of a practicality for their modesty, it also made sense for the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
And I'll say this: I liked the intimacy between Seth and Evan when they were laying down to go to bed.
that was going to be the last thing I brought up. Their sleeping bag hug. That was
Yeah.
it's just so lovely. I'm the friendship intimacy is always going to be my favorite thing. Now, that could also fall into the light intimacy category, like you know, it bears discussing because it is part of the
Mm-hmm.
story, you know, like let's talk about how this would be done. But I would not expect people to need a choreographer to coach them through a hug. But doesn't mean it couldn't happen. If you are not someone who likes hugs, you might need to be coached through it, or you might need to be
Mm-hmm.
coached around it. If I hate to go dark here, but if you're someone from a very tragic background and you just have never been hugged, you might need to be coached through that. Also, have a
Yeah.
mental health person on standby because you're going to lose it when you experience a good hug.
Right. Yeah. Good hugs are good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And it's like there's also a million ways to hug, and for them to get that hug emotionally correct between
Mm-hmm.
these two guys at this point in this night, at this point in their relationship, um, at this pivotal moment where they're about to go away from each other. Um, it's just that is they hug correctly for all of those things, you know?
They don't do the pat, 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 or like,
Right.
ugh,
Right.
I'm
No,
gonna
it's not that kind of hug.
aggressively hug you because I
That's
don't
right.
want to fail. I assume.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've
I
had some
feel.
weird hugs, but I've never had to experience that thing. Well, no, that's not true. We have some aggressive huggers in our family who I think definitely gave me some breakable pats on the back. Um,
Ouch.
I know, and like when I was younger too, so definitely wispy. I'm like,
Right.
why?
Yeah. Ow, everything's broken. Thank you.
Can your love be less painful? God.
Happy Easter to you too. That really hurt. Yep. Um,
Oh boy.
yep. All right, you want to try to evade the cops on foot and run into Needle Drop Forest
Hell yeah.
with beer and Tide containers? Ugh.
Oh
Um,
my god. Okay, I feel
I
like they
know.
would have died. That's poison.
It's really not going to be good. No, it's really not going to be good. Um, yeah, I don't recommend that. That sounds bad.
We're all
Um,
gonna have anal leakage next
oh,
few
so
days.
bad. So unpleasant. Every piece of it. Um, I thought the soundtrack of this movie was really good. There's a lot of funk and hip hop and like real good bass lines
Mhm.
underneath a lot of the things that are going on. But the thing that I enjoyed the most was Michael Cera singing "These Eyes" by the Guess Who when he was in the cocaine room. I just like uh, the reason I liked it so much is because it couldn't have been a worse song for his character to have to sing in that moment. Like he
Sure.
can't sing generally. It's he can definitely not hit those notes. That song has a lot of quick words tripping over each other that if you don't know them, it couldn't have been a worse choice, and as such was perfect. I
Yes.
just quite enjoyed that whole bit.
I really liked the final song. It had that wistful nature,
Hmm.
and also, I mean, it's called PS I Love You, so that's pretty great. Like,
Hmm.
don't forget me.
I also like that there was like a Bootsy Collins song about McLovin over the credits, which made me happy.
Oh, I missed
McLovin.
that one. Oh, no,
That
I
was
didn't. I must have listened to that earlier because I did hear them say McLovin in the song, and I went, oh,
yeah.
he's here.
Yep. He is here. Um, yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about it. I just really enjoyed it. Like it's a like it has to be a a well chosen song for that scene to be as funny as it is. And choosing a song like These Eyes that he cannot sing, that's also very much a throwback. Like it was a throwback in 2007 because the song's from the 60s. Um,
I didn't know it. I
so
thought he was making something up.
you don't know, oh, that's a good song. These eyes have seen a lot of love, but they're never gonna see another one like I have with you.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I can't sing it either. Um,
You're doing just
ba-dum,
fine.
ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum. Um, yeah, no, that's a good song. Um, but it is a funny one.
I feel about this soundtrack the way you felt about the Mean Girls soundtrack, in that it didn't really stick out to you. Like I heard stuff,
Uh huh.
and I can't compare the two really. And also I looked up the soundtrack to this before we started to listen through some stuff because I wanted clarification on some songs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it is a good soundtrack, but it didn't. I didn't notice it as much as I noticed
Mm-hmm.
it in other movies, which happens.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a good one, but it's not a perfect one. You know, it's not Dazed and Confused or anything quite like that. So.
I don't know how to explain this because I have no knowledge of this. The sound editing techniques that it must take to let an audience know you need to pay attention to this music because it's telling you everything the characters can't. You
Oh,
know,
sure. Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
you get that in a John Hughes film before you know it's a thing. You just know like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. When Ferris sang Donka Shane, he meant it. Donka Shane. Do you know how like surprised? So you know the song Donka Shane, right?
I do.
And you know who sings it?
Willie Newton?
You're close. Wayne Newton.
Wayne Newton!
Yes, but the key is that it's a boy.
Yes.
Like it, Wayne Newton
Was a
recorded that song.
baby.
Yeah, he was like 14 or something when he recorded that song, and has like this ladylike voice. And we watched Ferris recently, and I was like, "Laura, you know that's Wayne Newton, right?" And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like that lady's voice is a boy." Like,
Oh man. In trying to plot out some things to do next weekend, Walter was like, "We should just do everything Ferris does." And I went, "You think we have that kind of energy?"
that's a lot of energy. It's also too much to do in one day, but you got more than one day.
Oh,
So
well, absolutely, but we are not doing everything
no,
from that
I don't
movie.
recommend getting a car stolen by your valet parker
Nope.
or wrecking the car. That's probably not good.
By the valet
At a
Parker
Tanya?
who was in Good Morning Vietnam.
Yes, he is. That's right. Um, I, yep, I don't think people could hear you fall on the radio. Uh, okay, what else time? Is this anyone's defining role? McLovin.
Oh yeah, McLovin. All the way.
100% McLovin.
Anyone else, it's not for me. Like Michael Cera will always be Polly Bleeker to me.
Oh, did so that means you have never watched Arrested Development?
No, it just means I fucking love Juno.
Okay. I mean, I love Juno too, but I mean, he's uh, he's a Bluth.
Michael
Come on.
Bluth Jr.
Yeah, he's George Michael. Come on.
or George Michael. I don't even know. I liked that show, and then those extra seasons just wiped it from my brain. It's like it
Those
no
extra
longer
seasons were not great.
it's like it no longer made sense to me, and so my brain just went whoop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hate that because I know it's funny. I love Jessica Walters. I quote her.
The thing is genius. I mean, it is that show has jokes that like are 4 levels deep and reference an episode from 3 seasons ago.
Cha-cha, 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 cha-cha.
I mean, it is. Yeah, it's great. It deserves a rewatch by me.
Anyan.
Which we'll probably have to do sometime soon. So, yeah, for me, it's no one else's defining roles either. I mean, everyone else has gone on to do much bigger things. It's almost Jonah Hill's. Like
I was gonna say, I feel like it could be Jonah Hill's. I know he's grown, but this is such a big. If this isn't his first thing, it's definitely the thing that put him on the map.
oh, it for sure is. Yeah. He's been better in way more things. But let's see if this was his first thing. It's going to be real close. Oh, no, interesting. His first thing was I Heart Huckabees.
Oh.
Yeah, which I never saw, but I know a lot of people who liked.
Same.
Yeah, this is not he did a bunch of stuff in the 3 years between. He's in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh,
eBay customer.
I don't remember him in that.
He was an eBay customer. So,
oh,
yeah. This was like his first, I think, big leading thing. He's in Knocked Up and
I remember him in that.
Yeah, he's in a bunch of stuff, but no, he's just one of those people who's just gotten better and better, I think. As a performer, as an actor, he's quite good. 21 Jump Street is way funnier than it has any right to be.
I haven't seen that. I would like to. Walter heard in the movie Jonah Hill make a Jump Street call out.
Oh, in this one?
Yeah.
Oh, this is way before Jump Street too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well,
Jump
then that
Street
was
way later.
pure. He was just manifesting.
Yep. Yeah. 21 Jump Street is the loudest wrong I've been about a movie based on a trailer. Like,
Oh.
I saw the trailer to that movie and thought, this makes me want to invent a time machine to go back and stop Johnny Depp from being in the TV show so that there is no spin-off movie. Like, that's how bad I think this looks.
Wow.
And then I watched that movie and I laughed so fucking hard. And it is such a well-constructed piece of comedy that I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everybody for how wrong I was. This movie is so funny and it shouldn't be this funny, and goddamn does it work.
Yeah.
So I recommend 21 Jump Street. It's far funnier than it has any right to be. All right. What else? Do you have any other else's?
Oh, I had a fun question to ponder.
Oh, yeah.
If you could only hang out with one of two friend groups, would it be the American Pie crew or the Superbad crew?
Ooh. I like the Superbad guys better.
Okay.
Like, they're less bro-y than the American Pie kids.
Yeah.
And even though, like, Biggs seems like, he's the guy who fucked that pie.
Yeah.
Like, he seems like a pretty decent fella. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'd rather hang out with these two dopes.
Oddly enough, I think by the barest of margins, I think I'd rather hang out with the American Pie crew. Just because there's more variety, so when one of them annoys me, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go over here now. Hey.
I thought you were gonna say because at least they'd try to make you come.
I was thinking it. And yes, absolutely. We all heard the cringy start of the show.
That's right. I don't even remember it. It was an hour ago.
I'm so mad at myself for not thinking of a better line. There have been two lines throughout this that I'm like, oh, that would have been way better than like the one I picked. Oh well. Water under the bridge. Wow. Hey. Right.
I don't know. The one you chose is good. They said that could happen in health class. Yeah. I'm also a big fan of your dick is so smooth. Yours would be too if you were a boy. It is such a that is a I don't know how to respond to that. Words are coming out of my mouth now.
You know what? I'm gonna tiptoe back into intimacy for a minute because dirty talk is definitely a thing you would have to work with too. It's like, okay, let's work through these lines. How am I saying them? What level of like arousal am I? Like, or is this me trying really hard because I don't understand what and which is it's just that your teens, you already don't know what to say in any situation.
Yeah.
And then you're drunk on top of it. Like,
yep.
So yeah, like, oh, your dick is so smooth. Like, yeah, that sounds very on brand for a teenager to be like, I feel like I'm supposed to say something about your penis, but what do you compliment?
Right.
And people, the only time you compliment it is afterwards.
Oh, really? Okay. Just in case it lets you down.
It is. I have said this for years. To the laughter, like to the sounds of my own mother's laughter. It is not pretty. It is a function. It is. But that is a personal take. Other people like the look of it. Samantha on Sex and the City always talked about how much she loved the look of it. And quite frankly, I'm just like, function. I'm more excited by what it can do.
Is it right? Not how veiny it is.
Oh my.
Nailed it. I was really hoping to get a terrible reaction out of you for my choice of words, and I nailed it.
The veins.
High five to me.
Obviously, it has veins, but my God. It's like porn a struggle sometimes.
Too many veins.
The images, I'm sorry, it's just like, get real bodies. These are something else.
You don't think they won't put you on a vag-tastic voyage?
No, I think they're gonna... Listen, we've talked about how scared I am of being crushed. They look like I would be impaled.
That's true. That's very true.
This is a weird conversation.
What I know. What did you think of the? Because we don't kink shame here. So if you want to watch porn where people pee and poop on each other, knock yourself out. Not my thing. Yeah, but what did you think about their conversation of the selling points of the different porn platforms?
They flew over my head. Go through them again.
Really?
Yeah.
So at the very beginning, when he's like the vag-tastic voyage, like not only do you get like the whatever, the girl comes in the van and then they have sex with her, like that's the whole thing. He's like, but you also get all these other sites, like you get I don't remember what they said. Like, I'm sure there was some sort of ethnic thing that you could see, and there was this, and then there was peeing and pooping.
Oh my God.
And he's like, why do you want to watch that? He's like, I'm not saying I want to watch that. I'm just saying that it's one of the things that comes with it.
I mean, listen, if you're not going to read about it, you should research it in other ways. You should research it in a way that it is befitting for your brain and helps you learn and expand your life experience, much like Andrea would want to do.
I'm looking up something.
I mean, I'm grossed out. You looking up porn?
Are you familiar? No, not porn, but a term. Are you familiar with Rule 34?
Oh, is that the one where if it exists anywhere online as porn?
Yeah, if it exists, there's porn of it.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
On this.
And I couldn't remember what the number was. I was looking up what the number was. Did you have a favorite dick drawing?
No.
No? Nothing made you giggle?
No. I have such a negative... College really, turned me off to the whole dick drawing thing because that's where everyone was doing it. And Cheesemeisters, someone drew a dick around my peephole on my door, and it was horrifying to freshman me.
That's rough.
And then I remember too in the snow, in the right quad courtyard, someone shoveled out a dick shape. So no, even though these were impressive and creative drawings, I immediately checked out.
I get that.
But tell me your favorite. Well, you said your favorite.
I think my favorite is the Dr. Strangelove riding the bomb. Slim Pickens riding the bomb with that I think was my favorite one.
Appropriate.
Yeah, I like that one quite a bit. There were a few in the closing credits too that I thought the one that was the three of them, Seth, Evan, and McLovin as dicks. I thought that was funny. Have you, speaking of dick vandalization, did you see the show American Vandal?
No.
There's a show on Netflix, and it's worth watching. It's quite funny. But it's like it's a true crime show, all trying to solve the mystery of who drew the dicks on the teachers' cars in the faculty parking lot.
Wait, I've heard about this. Or yeah. No, did Documentary Now do a parody of this? Because I've seen something.
They might have. I mean, this show was. I mean, it wasn't a real thing. It was a comedy, But it's in the style of a true crime documentary.
Nice.
They're trying to who drew the dicks is what they're trying to, the mystery they're trying to solve.
That's funny.
It is really funny, and it's well done. It's it's so correct in the sending up it's doing, and the fact that it's all about something Steve Sanders might have pulled. All right, what is this the EST of for you?
I feel like this is the most crass teenage movie.
It's pretty crass. I mean, there's no euphemisms. You know, they just say the words. Yeah, it's pretty crass. For me, I think this is the dickiest teen comedy.
Yeah.
Just dicks everywhere. Lots of dick jokes. Lots of different ways to refer to the dick.
Do you have any idea how many foods are shaped like dicks? The best kinds?
Yeah, the best. It's true. All right. I think that once again we have proven my theory that everything comes back to Aaron Spelling.
Even Superbad.
Even Superbad. And a bunch of dicks.
Oh my.
So join us here next week, Cheesemeisters. On Wednesday, we are going to be discussing Season 4, Episode 7, Moving Targets. And I am going to suggest as our Peach Pod After Dark for next Friday that we watch Teen Wolf.
Let's do it. I've never seen it.
All right. Never seen it. Teen Wolf it's fun. It's another college movie, or it's another teenagers having sex movie, but also one of them's a werewolf.
Oh.
It's a basketball movie, and it has the worst basketball of any basketball movie you've ever seen. It's so funny, the basketball in this movie. We'll talk about the end of this movie in great detail, but that's not how any of that works. None of it. Can't do any of it. That's not how basketball works, you guys. Not the rules. Mick can't stand there. Just can't. Fucking not allowed to stand there when someone's shooting free throws at the end of the game. It's not okay.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I like Teen Wolf. I have very fond memories of watching Teen Wolf. I'm not saying it's a great movie,
No.
but what I am saying is that it's a lot of fun.
Okay. I'm definitely not expecting it to be good, but yeah, fun it should be. It's called Teen Wolf.
It's about a teen werewolf. And also there's two pieces of advice given in this movie that I wholeheartedly agree with.
Oh, okay.
That's right. You'll know all about that when we get to them. So until then, Cheesemeisters.
Cheers.